All right, today we're jumping right into a massive showdown happening in India. We're talking about the government getting ready to basically hit the off switch on the entire real money online gaming industry. Yeah, a potential blanket ban that could literally change everything overnight. So, just to give you a sense of the scale here, let's start with a number 500 million. Get this, that's how many people in India have played some form of real money game online. You heard that right. We're talking about nearly 500 million users who might be about to find their favorite apps just switched off. And, where you have that many players, you're going to have a whole lot of money. This industry is pulling in almost $4 billion in revenue every single year. It's this booming tech sector built from scratch with billions more in foreign investment just poured into it. And all of that, the players, the revenue, the jobs, the investment, it's all teetering on the edge, about to be potentially wiped out by a single new law. So let's dig in and break down what is really going on here. Okay, so to really understand this whole situation, we first have to get super clear on what the government is actually targeting. And it all boils down to how they define real money gaming. Now, this is the really crucial part. The proposed law defines it as any online game where you pay money for a chance to win more money or prizes. And here's the kicker. It doesn't matter if the game is based on skill, like fantasy cricket, or just pure chance. If there's real cash on the line, it's in the government's crosshairs. And what's so interesting is the really sharp line the government is drawing in the sand. So on one side, you have the stuff that would be banned. Fantasy sports giants like Dream11, online Rummy, poker, you name it. But on the other side, things like competitive esports or games where you just buy cosmetic stuff, like skins, they're totally safe. The government actually wants to promote esports, but only if there's no money being staked on the outcome. So, the big question is, why? Why is the government taking such a drastic step? Let's look at their side of the story, their official reasoning for wanting a complete shutdown. Well, the government's case really stands on three main pillars. First up is public health. They're pointing to rising cases of gaming addiction and, tragically, related suicides. Second, it's about financial safety. They want to protect people from racking up huge, catastrophic debts. And third, it's a matter of national security, arguing these platforms can be misused for things like money laundering and other serious crimes. And this quote really says it all. It sums up their entire position. For the lawmakers pushing this, the potential harm to society just far, far outweighs any economic good. It's a really clear, no-compromise message. But as you can imagine, the industry sees this completely differently. They're arguing that a ban is just the wrong move, and they're making it pretty desperate plea for a different path. Regulation, not total annihilation. And their argument has a few key parts. First, they're saying a blanket ban punishes all the legitimate responsible companies for the actions of a few bad ones. They think smart regulation, with things like age checks and spending limits, is a much better solution. They're also giving a pretty stark warning. A ban won't stop people from playing, it'll just push them to illegal offshore apps where they have zero protection at all. This table just lays it out perfectly. You're looking at two completely different philosophies clashing here. The government solution is basically a full stop, an emergency brake to protect people. The industry solution, on the other hand, is to build a controlled legal system that protects players while keeping the economic benefits. I mean, these are two totally opposite ways of trying to solve the same problem. Now, if this ban actually goes through, the impact isn't just going to hit the gaming companies. Oh no, the ripple effect is going to be massive, and it'll be felt across the entire economy. Let's just look at those numbers again, because honestly, they're staggering. We're talking about a $4 billion industry gone, over 200,000 direct jobs vanished, billions in global investment at risk, and of course that massive user base of 500 million people. All of this could effectively disappear overnight. And it's really important to understand that this isn't happening in a vacuum. This has been building up. Back in 2023, the government slammed the industry with a huge 28% tax, which the industry called catastrophic. And now, with this new bill, the government is basically escalating from heavy taxation to total prohibition. And the penalties they're proposing are, well, they're severe. If you run a real money game, you could be looking at up to 3 years in jail. Even just advertising one could get you 2 years. And this is the real killer blow. Banks and payment apps would be legally barred from processing any transactions. That would effectively cut off the industry's entire oxygen supply. So that brings us right up to today. The battle lines are drawn, the stakes couldn't be clearer, and a major fight is pretty much inevitable at this point.
The bill is now headed for Parliament, where we can expect an absolutely fierce debate. You're going to see intense lobbying from the industry, and it's almost a guarantee that there will be legal challenges arguing that this whole law is unconstitutional. So yeah, this is far from a done deal.
But at the end of the day, this whole story isn't just about gaming in India. It's really a case study for a question that countries all over the world are struggling with right now. In this age of super fast technological change, how do you find that balance? The balance between encouraging innovation and economic growth, and the fundamental need to protect your citizens from potential harm. There's really no easy answer to that, is there?